Well, hello everyone, and how are you doing this morning? Now, I know. We all wanted more green on the screen, and I put green on my background. We can always put red on my background to match the red up on the screen, but oh, I've got my green notebook. Does that count? That's what I'm doing to try to make the green happen. We've got CPI data that's going to be coming in about 31 minutes. We're going to talk inflation. We're going to talk XRP price. We're going to talk price of gold, safe haven assets as well. Because look, gold is knocking on all-time highs. Here's the deal, right? It is. It's knocking on all-time highs. There's still a lot of volatility in the market that we got to deal with. But overall, we're going to keep it crypto focused, but we're also going to get into your comments. Trial by Fire says, good morning, Klaus. Rough shift last night, a bit low on the sleep. Yeah, I did not sleep good last night either. We had a lot of rain and storms roll through the area yesterday. Not too much fun when you've got 4 dogs, and those 4 dogs need to have their 4 paws wiped off. So then you're like, yo, bro, that's 16 paws you gotta wipe off. Yeah, it is. It's 16 paws you gotta wipe off. Every freaking morning I gotta let those dogs in, or every freaking time I gotta let those dogs in. But the news right now is this. Overall, I know we're seeing red on the screen. We're seeing red on the screen, but overall, we're still looking good. I gotta be honest with you. We really are. Volume for XRP, $10.3 billion in the last 24 hours. That is juicy AF. I love seeing action in that range right there, especially through the weekend, because the weekend, I think we all know, weekend can be Boringsville, everyone, and it wasn't. Weekend was actually Juicy McJuicerson, which is cool. What else do we got going on right now? We've got volume overall for the crypto market at 158 billion. Altcoins are still holding strong at 33 out of 100. We got WPX Taco Man Sasana watching on board a U.S. aircraft carrier near Yemen. Oh, well done. Be safe out there too. All right, what else do we got? We got Tyron hanging out in the house, and Tyler Yetzer hanging out in the house as well. Checking in from Planet Fitness. Way to go, Tyron. Getting the morning workout going on. And other good news, mostly institutional inflows. I think this is great. Look, if institutions keep pouring money into something, what does that mean? It means they believe there is money to be made. If all of a sudden we start looking at institutional money and we're like, yo, they're taking money out, well, then we got a massive problem, Roni. But as long as they're dumping money in, that's telling us what, everyone? That they believe that there's money to be made. Now, I do wish this altcoin season index would swing a little bit higher than this, but I get it. Right now, we're sitting at 33 out of 100. We were seeing 39, 38 not too long ago. But look at this. Look at this spike right here of altcoin season. That's this gray line right here, gray and orange. Look at, right? Right? That's a healthy rebound, a healthy turnaround. Come on now. We got hello from Norway. Well, hello back at you, everyone. No, Tyler, I'm not helping with any sort of leverage trading during a stream. That's not what we're doing today. We're talking about CPI data and how today, although being important, right? Although being important, and stop losses are important, let's be real here. Although being important with CPI data, the real big thing is this. We need to know 2 things. Number 1, trade agreement. Are we going to be getting juicy trade agreement stuff, right? Or are we kicking the can down the road 90 days and then all of a sudden what happens to the market in 90 days? Number 2, what's going to happen to crypto regs? Like, seriously, what is going to happen with crypto regs? I'm a little nervous about that because if you notice, like, haven't heard shit, right? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about right there too. And what happens is if the stablecoin regs get pushed further down the road, then what? Oh, then we got a bigger problem because then that pushes the altcoin regs down the road as well. And you had the SEC guy brought it up yesterday. The SEC guy had a press conference because remember they're doing the SEC crypto roundtables? He's like, well, we're going to work on crypto regs for the SEC. And you're like, bro, we don't even know if the crypto is going to be registered as a security or not. It might even be a freaking commodity. Milan says, morning from the UK. Marvin Cuervo says, present from the Philippines. Well, hello, everyone. Oh, hello. Trial by Fire says the 7-3 right of the ranks. Trial by Fire, we're like starting from scratch, so I don't even know if we can continue the number count going. We might be like on revision 2 of the new subset D of category A of subset G of month F. Like, it's nuts, man. They spent 6 revisions. 6 revisions, dude. What a joke. Dan Rutan says, when do you think Judge Torres is going to make a decision? She is going to check and make sure that all the T's are crossed, all the lowercase J's are dotted, and she's going to put her little signature Roni on there. I'm not worried about Torres at all whatsoever. Not worried about it. You got both sides that want to come to a resolution. She wants it to be over with. Both sides want it to be over with. You've got a change in regime here. You got a change in regulatory landscape. I'm not worried about it at all. Sammy Johnson says, Trump's crypto reserve announcement confuses the heck out of me. I wonder when we'll hear more. Same. We got the announcement from Trump on Truth Social regarding the crypto reserves, and then since then we haven't gotten jack. Like, we haven't gotten crap at all. In fact, think about it. Okay, you got other players out there like MicroStrategy, MetaPlanet, others buying BTC. You got Coinbase. They're not just buying BTC. They're buying like pretty much all cryptos out there. You got the United States saying they're going to do it, but then they don't. So it's really weird, man. Like, okay, of everything out there, let's just be real here. Of everything out there, the strategic reserve thing for me is the biggest nothing burger, biggest thing I've been upset about, biggest thing that's been pumped and dumped out of this whole thing. Regs, yeah, I know it's frustrating, but the strategic reserve, though, is definitely a big frustration. 850? All right, cool. So, yeah, just throwing it out there. Jack and Ty says, love this channel. Everyone helps everyone. Yeah, it's a great group of people here. And happy Tuesday morning to you all. Overall, we're going to be talking CPI data. Am I worried with CPI data? No, I'm not worried at all. This is what the trend has been like over the last year. This is what it looks like for last 3 years, last 5 years. Now, let's be real here. We do wish this was coming down a little bit more, right? Let's be real here. If I were to highlight this right here, you see how we kind of went up and then we went down and now we're kind of going a little sideways? I wish this second part would have gone down and would have kept going down and kind of matched this like you see over here. But we're not getting that right now, all right? That's what we're hoping for. So in today's report, what are we wishing for? We're wishing for something right around here. That would be nice. Buy the news, sell the rumor. No, buy the rumor, sell the news. That's how we do it here in crypto. Crypto is all about what, everyone? It's all about pumps and dumps. Why do you think some of the biggest pumps out there are now back in the red? Because players, the big players out there, take this information and they sell it and they dump it. Look at some of the biggest ones here. Fartcoin, Whiff, PayPay, Penguins, Floki, a lot of meme stuff, right? A lot of meme has been pumped up and you know what happens, and they dump Aroni it. It could be uppercase P, it could be lowercase d, it doesn't matter. They still pump it and dump it. XRP, here's something important with XRP, okay? The last time that XRP got to the 250 range, do you know what happened? The institutions all sold it off at $2.50. That is exactly what happened. $2.50. Now, in this most recent move right here, we've touched 250 several times. We haven't seen the same sell-off from the institutions. In fact, we're looking right here at the trading volume, and you're seeing, the Japanese yen pair come back. And the Japanese have been getting big into XRP, and that is juicy. What do we need to see more of? I'd love to see more volume from the US-based markets, but we're not seeing that. US markets haven't done much for XRP here as of late. XRP USDP pairing, right now $500 million, 535 million. Compare that to the Korean won pairing at 1.1 billion. So there you go. Choo-choo does not mean run away. Choo-choo definitely does not mean run away. Choo-choo is what we say in the channel, because we say choo-choo bitches, girlfriend. Amateur night at the strip club, pumps and dumps, right? Because the girls got that dump truck, right? You got to pop, lock, and drop it, man. Don't bring up Warren's name. Don't do that. I don't need to see Warren's name this early in the morning, Pocahontas. What about gold? Gold's been doing some funky things as well. Gold has been touching some big highs here. People have been taking profits in gold. It's the same thing. You're seeing that. Profits on gold, right? Gold gets to that 3,500 mark. Players come in. They sell off 10 to 15% of it. They come in. They buy the dipperonis. Boom shakalaka. Rinse and repeat. It's the same thing you're seeing in crypto. What about ETH, everyone? ETH kind of has that same view too. Look what happens when I go into the chart of ETH, right? Go into the chart of ETH, go to the 1 year chart. ETH hit 4,000 in May of last year, sold off to the 23s, 22s. Hit 4,000 again in December of last year, sold off to the 1,500s. It's everywhere, man. It is all over the place. Cody Zug says, I'm at work today running that supply chain inventory list. Oh, no, that's no fun. No bueno, senor. It's no bueno. Give me some good news today, class. Well, honestly, the good news is while I was sleeping, the volume for XRP stayed steady. While I was sleeping, you had price action stay pretty good, above 250. We got support above 240. I like that. Old Hasterling says, volume looking sexy. Yes, this is what we want. We want this sort of oomph, this sort of excitement, right? When crypto gets boring, okay? And here, watch what happens here. Watch when I zoom out to the month. When you zoom out to the month for XRP, you see this big blob of volume that we've gotten here as of late. This is what you want, everyone. But you see this early May into late April when the volume went down. You don't want that. Come on. You don't want that. All right? You don't want the low volume. Because then the low volume has what? Low retail interest. You also don't want the low volume because you don't want low institutional interest. Stephen Barrett says, hey, Klaus, slang from Scotland. The fear and greed index is getting to a level where there's normally a sizable pullback. What's the liquidity and long-short ratios like? Do you think a dump is coming? Here's the thing. I get what you're saying about with the fear and greed index. Why? Because we had a big run-up from certain alts. The deal, though, goes a little bit deeper than that. As long as the Bitcoin miners aren't selling off at a high clip, which is putting too much pressure on BTC, we should be okay. Trick says, top of the morning. Right back at you, sir. Yakin Thias says, Klaus, why not start a group community about crypto for beginners, scalping, leverage, etc.? I try to keep this more news-based as possible. And the reason being is we have so many people, so many different goals, so many different ones. Like, for real, I just had an email from someone a couple days ago that said, bro, the next time XRP gets to 250, I'm out. Well, homeboy's out. Why? Because they bought the last time XRP hit 250 and they bought a lot. They waited a whole month. It was too long for them. You know what I mean? And they just wanted to get out. So you got people that have different objectives, different time frame objectives, different profit expectations. And so rather than doing that, I just try to bring the news so that you can make the best decision that fits you. Chipper says, the CPI may not be what the market wants. Not expecting a pump today myself. Okay, in terms of weight, okay, think of CPI like this, okay? I'm trying to find like something that I have in my room that could illustrate CPI data very well. Okay, CPI data, this is today. Today's CPI data represents my right hand, okay? The market is looking at this going, okay, this is important. If it's super, super juicy, or super, super bad, the market's going to react. If it's something in the middle, the market's not going to give a crap to. The reality is, though, this CPI data right now is very small, very pequeño in comparison to previous ones. Why? Because the market just reacted heavily to what? To trade deals. Okay? The market is looking forward to trade deals. Is CPI data big? Yes. Is unemployment big? Yes. Is the Beige Book big? Yes. Was Jerome Powell's FOMC meeting big? Yes. But they're not as earth-shaking, as price-moving as trade deals. Right now, that's all the market was totally all about. In fact, if we look at it, okay, if we look at XRP, when did XRP start really pumping, everyone? On Friday. And why on Friday? Because we got the UK-US trade deal. So, if the macros of trade are moving the market the most, CPI is going to move the market very, very little. See what I'm saying? So, if we were in, say, a big inflationary run like this, right? Like, if we were at this, like, peak levels right here, I then would put more weight on CPI data. Then everyone's there going, oh, shit, we're looking at CPI. We're waiting for the big numbers. Oh, this is going to suck. But no, we're in this, like, this kind of sideways action. And let's pull up our chart again. This is where we're at right now. Let me clean this up, okay? This is where we're at right now. So since we're in this sideways zone with CPI, I don't really look at this one as being a big groundbreaker. But when you're at like this peak inflation, oh shita, Oli, yeah, then you got to start paying crazy, crazy attention to CPI. The reason I'm paying a close attention to CPI today is because I want to see if we can maintain this downtrend for a third report in a row. The reason I'm paying attention to this for the third report in a row has to do with this, and that's this right here. It's the expectation for the June meeting. And right now, the June meeting is a pause. So what I'm doing is I'm starting to build my expectations out already for a month out, at least a month out. Here's why. The Fed hasn't said no about 2 rate cuts this year, okay? They're still saying, yes, we're good. Which means what? Which means those 2 rate cuts might come in 4 meetings instead of 5 meetings. That does what then, everyone? That pushes a lot of hype to the back half of 2025. What else would happen in the back half of 2025? Oh, that's right, stablecoin regs. What also happens in the back half of 2025? The China-US trade deal gets finalized. What else happens in the back half of 2025, everyone? Rate cuts. So there's plenty of stuff out there in the back half of 2025 that we can be looking forward to. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to build my back half of 2025 expectations. Because if myself and other players out there are like, yo, the back half of 2025 is going to be juicy, they're going to start taking the risk now. They'll take the risk now. They'll start looking at reports like CPI a little less because they're looking to the future. Because think about it. In 90 days from now, where does that put us? That puts us in near, July, August, right? See what I'm saying? 90 days from now, we got a good chance of getting stablecoin regs. 90 days from now, we get what, everyone? We might get a rate cut. And even if Jerome pauses and says, yo, I'm not going to give you a rate cut until we get a finalization of the trade deal, well, then that pushes those rate cuts to the September, October, December meeting, which is great because then that's squeezing a lot of good stuff in the back quarter of 2025. So this is all about painting that expectation of what the global flow of money is going to look like. And that's why I zoom out to these economic reports. I want to see what's happening now with the gold market because that tells me what people's appetite is for risk. And then I zoom out to start looking at, okay, what are some of these macro reports here which are going to lead some of these players to either not take the risk or take the risk. And then you got to ask yourself, well, what are you going to take risk in? You're going to take risk into stuff that you believe can hold on. And here's what I mean by that, okay? I want you to think of companies out there. Companies that you think are going to make it, right? Some companies are going to get wrecked. Some cryptos are going to get wrecked. But if you believe that the cryptos you're into have holding power and you can hold through these next kind of couple wishy-washy months, you can have a really juicy back half of 2025 because there's a lot of big global macroeconomic data that's going to be happening. Think, the U.S. is late to the party with cutting rates, right? Who else, though, is going to be cutting rates? The European Central Bank will, the Canadians will, the Aussies will, a lot of people will. So again, it's all about the expectations. So if you can start thinking like a big fish out there and start thinking of what the expectations are a quarter ahead, a half a year ahead, you can start taking a little bit more risk with things that you know can withstand the weather, right? Think about this. You got a chunk of money, right? And you want to put that chunk of money somewhere. You want some risk, you want some reward, okay? You also want to make sure that wherever you put that chunk of money, is that going to be put somewhere that can withstand the rain? See what I'm saying? More risk, more reward. If the back half of the year is going to be juicy, you can then take a little bit more risk. Why? Because a lot of other companies that have the capital, they can withstand the rainstorms in order to get through the poop storms and come out clean at the end. So that's what this is all about. Tyler Yetzer says, also, tariffs should be settled more. Yes, I'll drink. Don't judge me. Night shift. No judging at all unless you drink out of a box of wine. Yeah, so think. Tariffs, regs, maybe, just maybe we get something on the strategic reserve. That would be really nice because that's been a big nothing burger from Trump. I mean, as much as we have, I know some Trump maxis in the room, you have to admit, Trump making a post on True Social about XRP as a strategic reserve and then not saying anything about it has been one of the biggest letdowns out there, period. Period. One of the biggest letdowns. So, what if we somehow get a strategic reserve announcement in the back half of 2025? That would be juicy as hell too, right? And that's what I'm saying. You have to start thinking of what kind of things can come up in the back half of the year. Now, you start looking at July. Look, now they're even building in July as a pause. Do you know why they're building July in as a pause right now? And look, 1 week ago, you had a, what everyone? 21% chance that they were going to pause in July. Now you've got a 61% chance that they're going to be pausing in July. So why now are they pushing the rate cuts all the way back to September? Because of what Jerome said in the meeting that we watched not too long ago. Because we're not going to have a finalization of what? The China-U.S. trade deal. That's why we watch those meetings. That's why we do this stuff live. Now, I get it. Are some of them boring? Yes. But this is how you make the money. You watch the players. You watch what Jerome says. You watch how he says it. Yeah, maybe we get the Epstein list in the back half of this year. I doubt it, though. Because somehow if you're trafficking, you got to tell me, who are you trafficking to? You can't just traffic to no one. You don't traffic to yourself. You know, come on now. Let's be real here. We want the list. I'm going to take a quick drink. I would suggest y'all do the same. So I want you to think about that. Now, we're looking at September, October, December. You see what I mean? You're talking about rate cuts. You're talking about a whole bunch of things pushed further back in 2025. So if the market can hold on to a good fair amount of this price action, and we've seen that, yes, XRP, when it is super juicy, can touch $3. Yes, we know that SWE can touch it even harder too. We know that BTC can hold. We know that ETH can touch 4,000. We know what kind of price optimism can be built into the market. But we got to get there. The problem we got right now is the biggest thing that Jerome Powell said he was paying attention to was what? Was the trade deal between the U.S. and China. And that right now is doing what? It's this number right here. Look at this right here on the screen. I'm going to do this. I'm going to use my little snipping tool-a-roni. We're going to go on here. Look at this, everyone. 1 week ago, that's this column right here, we had a 21% chance that Jerome Powell was going to pause in the July meeting. And now look at us. We have a 61% chance that he's going to pause. That is a 3x shift in expectation for monetary policy from the United States. That's kind of crazy. So there you go, everyone. Other than that, I think we kind of covered everything. We got CPI data coming out in about 6 minutes right now. Like I said, I don't have much for expectations on the CPI report. I do just want to kind of keep my eyes on it. Jeremiah Wong has the right thing. JP is full of excuses not to cut rates. A lot of us are thinking that the reason Jerome Powell is not cutting rates is because he's got a serious bone to pick with Trump. Him and Trump are not friends. No love lost between those two. So just throwing it out there. I think that's a real big one. Is Jerome Powell and Trump are not friendly at all with each other. Jerome has taken the higher road. I'll be honest with you. He said time and time again that he's not commenting on X, Y, and Z. Trump has publicly called out Powell time and time again. So just throwing it out there. Andrew's hanging out with us in the house. And thank you to all the channel members for supporting the channel. I greatly appreciated it. So yeah, Jerome, he's going to be stingy. Now, if this is the case where we still get 2 rate cuts this year, that means we're going to get 2 rate cuts between 3 meetings. That's a lot of action squeezed in a short amount of time. That's going to make this winter, fall and winter, very interesting for the crypto markets. Overall XRP is what? Holding north of $2. That's the deal here. Casey Anderson says, when is the regulations bill going to be heard again? We got to rewrite it, Casey. Like, that's the whole problem. We got to rewrite it. We're back to square one, man. Like, this is messed up, Casey. What happened was this. When the elections happened in November, we had support from the Democrats and the Republicans regarding crypto bills, okay? Then in January, right, when we had Trump in the inaugurations, and then when we had all the new Senate stuff, right, we had all these people say, yo, we support crypto regs. So they went to subcommittee, right, like Senate Banking, House Financial Services. They went to all these subcommittees, okay? And the subcommittees got support from the Senate, or from the Republicans and the Democrats. Not full support, but enough to make the votes happen. So what happened was they went into these subcommittees, they got the votes, they upvoted it to the main thing, right, to the Senate. Go to the Senate for vote, and all of a sudden the Democrats pulled all of their support out. That's not good, everyone. No, we are not getting 3 cuts this year. Not a chance in hell. We'll be lucky if we get 2. We'll be lucky. No one with a brain cell said that we were going to get 3 cuts this year. The highest expectation we had was 2. And right now, at the rate we're going, we might only get 1 rate cut this year. Ralph says, choo-choo, Klaus, glad you're doing better. Yeah, I'd say I'd feel about 85%. Sleep is still a little weird because if I roll over on the side of my face, that kind of hurts. I'm feeling better, though. I'm getting some training sessions in. I can't go full ham yet. I am getting some training sessions in. I feel pretty good. But yeah, right now, it's all about trade with China. That's the big one, everyone. Trade with China is what the entire market is focusing on right now. So, we've got 90 days. What is it? 90 days from today. Let's see what happens. We're going to go back. So, we're looking at what? August 9th, everyone. All right? August 9th. So, when we're looking at the markets, we're looking at August 9th. Let's see. Do we have any meetings around then? No, we don't have any August meetings. Okay. So, in August is what we would be looking at. The thing is, do you think we could get a stablecoin bill by August? Maybe. We might be able to. I mean, it'll be close, but we got to start from scratch. We got to start from scratch. That's part of the problem, everyone. is they want to really put in a lot of protections in the bill. The Democrats, whether they're Senate Democrats or House Democrats, do not want crypto with the presidency. Just throwing it out there. They do not want that at all. Yeah, Miguel Casilla says, but on X, everyone said they were going to cut rates the last two meetings and an emergency rate cut for that, and they're going to have a $100 XRP right now. No. Optimistically, we get 2 rate cuts this year. Realistically, we still look at 1. Shane Lang says, question, if the Republicans control both houses and the executive, why can't regs be pushed through? Because you need 60 votes in the Senate to make it happen, which means you need 7 Democrats to vote yes with the Republicans, and you're not getting those votes right now. So the problem we got is the support that we thought we were going to get from the Democrats, they pulled their support out. That's not good, everyone. That's not good at all. Yeah, and the whole thing is this, is you do have some people that on the Republican side that don't want BTC as a strategic reserve. Like, that is true. There are some Republicans out there that aren't into like full Maxiism either. So you kind of have to navigate through that. It almost seemed as if like they thought the stablecoin bill was a slam dunk, and then at the last minute all these players just pulled out their support. I'm quickly hitting the refresh button to see what happens with CPI data. As soon as we get the data up on the screen, I'm going to share it with you. Someone said, do we think the Dems can be steered back into stablecoins? We don't want to add pork to the bill because we don't want to add more debt. Here we go. CPI data came in. Hey, we're at 2.3. It came back down. This is good news, everyone. Came back down a little bit more. Nice. Look at this. Right here. Came back down. 2.3. 2.3 for CPI. Let me put this back in here. 2.3. CPI data. Data today. There you go. Got it up on the screen. 2.3, everyone. I like this. We know housing's going to be high. Not really too worried about that. Yeah, 2.3 is good. It's not groundbreaking. It's not, oh my gosh, melting faces. Nothing like that. I think this is good. Now, someone asked, how are we going to get the Democrats on board? Well, they're going to have to rewrite the bill. That's number 1. Number 2, usually to get the Democrats on board, you got to throw some pork in the bill. But right now, no one wants to throw pork on the bill because the debt clock is just growing. And that's not cool. So right now, the Republicans don't want to add more debt because their whole election premise was they were running on cutting debt. Officer Doofy hanging out with us. What's up, Officer Doofy? 2.3 is good. That gives us 3 months in a row of downward momentum. I like that. I like that a lot. This is good. Is it the great we were talking about? No, I told you it's probably going to be right around in the middle. $10,000 XRP Russian oil. I know. Come on, guys, gals, blue-haired giraffes. But this is good. What's going to happen with the price eroni of XRP in our favor? That's what we're going to see here as the market digests this. Yeah, it's true. I hardly say good for CPI data. This is good. Is this groundbreaking good? No. But the problem is you still got food is still high. Energy, yeah, I'm glad energy commodities are coming down. Gas is coming down. Like, I get that. But, food is still way too high. Housing is still way too high. Powell won't cut rates. Powell will not cut rates until we get a trade deal. That's why you got to follow this trend line. And that's this right here. This is what I was showing everyone earlier. 1 week ago, we had a 21% chance that they were going to pause in the meeting in July. Now we have a 61% chance that they're going to pause in July. So that's not good, everyone. We want rates to come down so that building can be cheaper. Why did rates change? Or why did the expectation of rates change? Because Powell said, hey, we can stay at this rate for longer because we're 100 basis points lower than where we were. And because he said we don't know where we're going with the trade deal yet, so we don't want to do anything to mess it up. That's what's going on right now. Are we looking bullish? I would say that this is bullish right now. CPI data overall, I mean, this is, I like this. I like this. Is this like a super fast coming on down? No, I mean, this isn't like the fastest coming on down. Because, like, look, when you look at what happened with CPI data right here, right? It rocket shipped up, went down, and now it's kind of gone sideways. If we would have gotten the same move up to go down the same way, that would have been great. That would have been freaking good. But we didn't get that, though. We got this kind of sideways action right here. Yes, we got those numbers in. 2.4 is the deal. I'm sorry, 2.3 is the deal. My bad on that. 2.3, it came out. So we got 3 months in a row of declining numbers. Thank you, Trick, for letting everyone know. So, what's the expectations now? Well, the expectations now is as long as something stupid doesn't happen, the market can run. What do we need, though, for that to happen? We need the institutional players to keep doing what they're doing, pumping money into the market. We need something good to happen with reg development. That's another big one. We need to see, hey, is there going to be hope for the stablecoin bill? Because if there's not, well, that's a big problem. And a lot of players are like, yo, bro, do we really need the stablecoin bill in order for crypto to move? No, you don't. But here's the problem. You need the stablecoin bill and you need crypto regs to bring all that money in from the sideline, right? There's a lot of businesses out there that are not getting into crypto. Why are they not getting into crypto? Because we don't have regs, girlfriend. There's a lot of banks that will not touch crypto until we get updated regs. Why? Because everything we have right now is an executive order. And an executive order doesn't mean jack shit, because the next president could come in, right? Write new executive orders that undo all of this. So these banks don't want to risk going into all these stables. These banks don't want to risk going into all this crypto only to find out that, wait a minute, we don't have permanent regs. We just have executive orders, and executive orders can be undone. James Hunter says, thanks for all the updates, Klaus. You're very welcome. I try to bring you the news, good, bad, happy, or sad, even when I don't feel good. Even when I'm traveling to Guatemala. So just throwing it out there. So yeah, expectations right now would be nice. In terms of if we got something juicy with the stablecoin bill. If we got some good news here over the next few weeks on maybe some bipartisan support with stablecoin bill, I think that would be good. JZCV says, let's wait a couple hours for the market to react. That one, true. Always do that. Always wait a couple hours to react. The initial reaction, okay? The initial reaction on CPI data and the initial reaction on FOMC news is always bonkers. It's always crazy candlestick and then a change. Wait. Just wait a few hours and see what the market does once the market digests it. That's how you play this. Talon Shakate, thanks, man. Hope you feel better, brother. I'm feeling better every day. Every day I'm feeling better. It's a little bit. If I get good sleep, I feel great. Last night was not a good sleep night. We had a lot of rain coming through. The dogs weren't having fun with it. It kind of sucked. Let's start a super chat train on Klaus. No, let's not run a train on Klaus. Although I did like what you said there. Everyone give Tyler a big thank you for the support. I appreciate it. Let's see. No, honestly, when we get regs, banks come in. When we get regs, institutions come in. That's why banks and institutions don't want to get in now. All we have are executive orders. That's all we got, everyone, right now are executive orders. So you know how like Biden did a bunch of executive orders and then Trump came in and did the executive orders to undo the Biden executive orders? That's the problem. So yeah, we don't want that. We need more than executive orders. That's why you're not seeing the big banks get into crypto. Oh, here's another one. You know what else we need? I just saw this the other day. We need more rules from the Office of the Comptroller in order on what the rules are in regards for banks holding and custodying crypto. Trick dropping support on the channel as well. Trick says, thanks for being you. Well, thank you, sir, for the support of the channel. I greatly appreciate it. Totally appreciate it. Everyone give Trick a big thank you as well. At least Trick wasn't trying to run a train on me. Thanks, Tyler. Krishna dropping support as well. Krishna saying choo choo. Appreciate it. Krishna, big thank you as well, everyone. So now we got to look at this and we got to think to ourselves, okay, can the Democrats, can the Republicans work together? Can they put a bill together that doesn't have a lot of pork? So what is my job now over the next few days, weeks, and months? Y'all know the deal. My job is I got to now start scrubbing the Senate and the House for what, everyone? For what the hearings are next. What are their next meetings? Are they going to be holding some more crypto meetings? Here, what about this? Check this out. Here, let me show you this. Crypto roundtable dates. You got crypto roundtable dates. All right. Do you think you're going to get regs before these dates? No, I don't think so, girlfriend. I think you're going to have to wait. You got dates June 9th. Yeah, so you got crypto dates in June 9th. Tyler Yetzer says the train has left the station. Everyone give Tyler a big thank you as well. Is there any chance we could get coin regs without getting stable regs? No. Stable regs are the easiest. If you can't get stable coin regs, you're not going to get crypto regs, right? It's so easy to regulate stables versus this blob right here. Think about stables, right? You got algorithmic stable coins. You got backed 1-to-1. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, my wife is pretty hot. And she's got big jumblies too. So stables, easy to regulate. Here's the thing. The rest of this market, how do you regulate meme? How do you regulate utility? How do you regulate store of value? How do you regulate, like, you see what I'm saying? There's a lot more categories in this blob of the alts versus stables. And we have meetings now. We have crypto roundtables now until June 9th. So if you've got meetings until June 9th, now you're looking at this going, well, wait a minute. Are they going to wait for all these roundtable meetings before they even start working on another round of regs? And that's where I'm starting to think here. Well, wait a minute. Are we going to have time until the back half of this year? And that's what I think this whole message is about. The back half of this year. So now I'm sitting here thinking, well, what can we do? Are we going to get more buying opportunities? Are we going to have some other issues going on? Jock and Thighs dropping support on the channel as well. Thank you very much. Dropping some euros. I can say that. Euros. I appreciate it. But is that budget even going to get past Eclectic Sundries? Because you're not getting the Democratic support. Here's a big problem. Look, the Democrats do not want Trump to have a single win, period. That is just how it is. They don't want Trump to have a single win. They don't want him to have anything positive under his belt right now. So you might have a lot of those Democrats just saying, screw it, we're not going to vote on anything, even if it's something we believe in. Think, the Democrats were big into the stablecoin bill. They were really into it, and they pulled their support out. So we really got to see, are we going to be getting the support we need to pass these regs through? Or do we have to wait till midterm elections? Oh, that would suck, man. That would really suck if we have to wait till midterm elections. I just don't want them to add pork to the bills. Okay, and what that means, for those of you that don't live in the United States, here's what pork means, okay? We don't want them to throw stupid money into this bill to get votes, right? We don't want people to build a bridge in this county over here that only gets 2 cars a day because it makes this dude's construction company money. No, we don't want stupid stuff like that. Or we don't want to give this guy $10 million because they're going to make arrows in this place. No, we don't want that. We just want a clean-cut bill. But right now, we're back at the drawing board. Midterms, yeah, midterms next year are going to be interesting. Because then you got to see, if midterms next year go the way of the Democrats getting any support of the House or the Senate, well, then what? Then we're in deep trouble. Then we get delayed even longer. Then we're stuck on crypto executive orders. And crypto executive orders are weak AF, man. Weak AF. Tony Cahill says, we know they wouldn't do it for Trump, but for themselves. I think they understand before the next vote of the Genius Act. Guys, gals, blue-haired giraffes, I don't even know if we're going to get a Genius Act or a stable. I think, look, we're looking at, they're going to be just scrapping the whole thing altogether and starting from scratch. They really don't want anyone in Congress, anyone in the presidency in crypto, period. It's okay to insider trade stocks, but for some reason, it's not okay to own crypto. I mean, like, you see what I'm saying? Like, this is just really messed up. So if that's the big thing that they're fighting for right now, then we got some big, big delays. But right now, what did the market react to? The market didn't go red because the stablecoin bill got killed. No, the market went right past that. The market cares about global trade. So we can look past stablecoins. Would we like it? Yes. We would love to see money flow in from big banks. We would love that. That's going to happen with regulations. But money can also flow in if we know we're going to get support from what? We're going to get support from the US and China with a trade deal. Yes, the data came in, and the data came in at 2.3. So, what does this mean? It means you're going to have some buying opportunities. Why? Because we're not on the most solid of ground yet. We're simply not. We're not there yet. We're not on the most solid of ground because we don't have rate cuts yet, and we don't have a solid trade deal yet. We've got a 90-day chill out period. That's just like that's like an executive order, right? We don't have a law yet. We've got a chill out period. That's kind of what an executive order is. It's not permanent. It's permanent until the next person does it. And we both know that the United States and China at any time can screw things up, right? So I think we all got to pay attention to that. Yeah, I Tyler, you know, I'm glad that we got a lowering of the report today, but like at a 2.3, I know it's the lowest we've seen. And let's be real here, this is the lowest we've seen since the Rona pandemic happened. But the reality is, we want to make sure that nothing blows up with the U.S.-China deal. That all eyes are going to be trading on that over the next 90 days. And that puts us through the early part of August. That's the deadline. Next 90 days, early part of August. I'm going to write that down, actually. Give me a second here. August trade China. All right, August early trade to China. So, July, probably not going to get rates. Just throwing it out there. Yeah, it does, Tyler. It appears we have 3 months for news to happen until we get a trade deal. So, what happened the last time? The last time you saw the little mini trade deals like the US-UK trade deal pump the market. We could get more of that. I wouldn't say it's going to be a total nutso free-for-all, but we're going to be paying attention to what? We're going to be paying attention to what Jerome Powell says. If you want to bet on it, I bet in the June meeting he's going to be like, oh, sorry, no rate cuts this time because we don't know what's happening with the trade deal. We know he's going to say that. ETFs are good without regs. ETFs are way to go without regs. You don't have to worry about regs with ETFs. That product itself is protected by the disclosures when they file it, so I'm not worried about ETFs at all. I just don't want regs to die completely where all we're running on right now is an executive order. I just don't want that. Executive orders can be undone. Now here's the deal, everyone. At 8:50 a.m. Eastern time, I've got to go do some dad duty. So we got about 3 minutes right now for the stream, and then I got to go do some dad stuff. So if you got questions, if you've got comments, spit them out now, because I've got about 3 minutes until I got to go be a dad. There you go. Tyler says, but the UK was number 4 in goods. We don't have any other top dogs other than China. True. True. But the littles add up. You get a couple little trade deals together, that adds up to something nice. Roberta Wright says, is trade ideally intended to go down to 30%, or is it going to be now until 90 days? The 30% is just so the markets can work. Ports were closed. It It was just a mess, man. No one was doing anything in the ports. People were getting their hours cut. That's not cool. Not cool at all. Freddie says, how you doing, my man? I'm feeling pretty good. I'm at about 85% right now. I'm going to try to train twice today. I'm going to try to do a 2 a day. Yeah, just throwing it out there. Trick says, later, Klaus. Harvest time. Glenn's hanging out with us. See you, brother. What was CPI? CPI was 2.3, the lowest we've had since the pandemic. PM says, thanks, Klaus. You're inspirational, mate. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. I really hope, Tyron, we get that stablecoin bill by August. Oh my gosh, I really hope so. I got a couple toys in the garage, Peter. I have not been shopping for car parts lately. I have been really busy with traveling. Just throwing it out there. 1 more minute until I gotta go do dad stuff. Get your questions and comments in now. Markets overall, hey look, we're greener than where we have been. We're off from the peaks, but that's okay. I'm cool with that. Hopefully you are too. All right, everyone, I'm going to get going. I gotta